What's up, guys, and welcome back to another edition of the Hornets Daily podcast. My name is Tayvon, and we got ourselves a great show for you guys for today. 4 topics, as always, on the Charlotte Hornets, and you guys know you guys had a really great news week that just came up, the next 2 days that just came up just recently. We want to first say happy 4th of July. I know you guys did not get a video on 4th of July, and for obvious reasons, everybody was out barbecuing. So was myself, but also was traveling with family. So I hope you did. I hope you guys did too, in a sense. And if not, we hope that you guys stayed chilled inside of the 4th of July and enjoyed some of the games, especially the Summer League games that happened just yesterday. So it was pretty fun. I hope you guys pretty much, stay cool throughout, or at least got some good eats during that time. So in the meantime, we're going to go and focus on our topics of today, and that is obviously the Charlotte trade for Dorian Finney-Smith and gaining of 3 second rounds. So ladies and gentlemen, that happened. Yes, we talked about it literally days before it even came out, right? We talked about the fact that Dorian Finney-Smith may get traded by the Jake L. Fisher report. And it said that the Hornets was going to stop moving or stop doing things in general in terms of, making trades and making moves. Well, they made a move, right? And they got Dorian Finney-Smith for 3 second rounders in this trade, right? It's not the best, flashiest trade, but it does save us a lot of money in terms of what we have, right? So everybody's looking at it and saying, why would we get Dorian Finney-Smith contract after just coming off a bad year where he, got injured, of course, and he's not, looking the best? Well, I can tell you this. One, if the Dorian Finney-Smith cap right now, his contract is $13.3 million for all of the next 3 seasons, from 2026, 2027, 2027, 2028, and 2028 to 2029, right? The best thing about Dorian Finney-Smith is that his money is not guaranteed for only, I think, 1 season. He's only guaranteed for 1 season. So technically, in a sense, for the next 2 seasons, we don't have to really pay that, and we can buy him out at any point in time. I would not be surprised the Hornets turn around and buy out Dorian Finney-Smith. He doesn't have any cash guaranteed after this season. So we paid this $13.3 this season, and then we can just buy him out at any point in time and call it quits, and just, let him go in the open market, let him develop and do whatever we need to do. The Hornets already have a lot of forwards as it is, with Naz Reid and Royce O'Neal and Grant Williams and Tayvon at the 4. Is really no spots for him at this point on. And again, it preserves a lot of tax that we are currently in. Charlotte is using the $15 million non-tax mid-level exception to acquire Dorian Finney-Smith, by the way. And they preserve that trade exception. They don't even use the trade exception whatsoever. And they get 3 second-round picks out of that deal. Meanwhile, I think Rockets don't really get anything in terms of that. I don't think it's just cash at this point. They just save up on cash. They don't really care. Just like, here you go. Here's Dorian Finney-Smith. Just, let us free up some cash. And, I mean, it's a good trade for the Rockets. They're trying to build a team to pretty much carry on with Kevin Durant and the rest of the squad that's there. Men Thompson, especially for his contract extension coming up. Dorian Finney-Smith is literally only here for 1 year. Literally, just a $13.3 million contract is only here for 1 year. After that, we buy him out. It's over, right? From that point on, we don't even have to worry about, paying him out, doing whatever we need to do. We literally, as I said, is non-guaranteed. With this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, with those 3 second-round picks, we are now have 20 second-round picks in the next 7 drafts, ladies and gentlemen. And we still have a lot of money to basically go through and do whatever we need to do and basically chill out. And again, I would not be surprised if we buy him out at this point in time. If we do use him, or we do put him in certain ways, this is more of his rehabilitation era right now for him to pretty much get back into free agency and see, if he can go to a contender or if he can go to a team to prove himself. This is pretty much his stop for this time being right now. Because again, with that major injury that happened, especially with Steven Adams on Twitter basically talking about it when they was talking about why would Dorian Finney-Smith be traded? Why this value? Why the Rockets giving up 3 second-round picks? In a sense, they are giving him up to pretty much 1, relief cap, so that way they can get some more players. But 2, pretty much he is on the back burner right now. He is not looking well in terms of playing for this season. Hopefully he does recover a little bit more. This will pretty much be his chance to, get back out there, show that he is healthy at least. And once he does get bought out from the Hornets, and once he does, something should happen in the sense we should see not only the money, but also Darren Finney-Smith potentially going to a contender. So it works out for both ends, for both the player and the team. Those 3 second-round picks is going to be lovely. Again, a lot of you people are saying, why we keep on going for second-round picks? Second-round picks it's basically assets in terms of trading into the later parts of the first round, if anything, right? And you can also add second-round picks to trades as well to basically add as a topper in terms of getting a star player, in terms of getting certain players on your team, or even getting a role player that could potentially elevate your chances of winning a championship, especially during trade deadline. So I treat these second round picks as, hey, I'm going to throw these second round picks at you for a late first round rookie that may be a steal, right? I throw in these second round picks for a trade where I can get a role player for these second round picks, and then from there, save up on some money. Some people save these second round picks for draft stashes, especially for international players, so they can save money. Because again, you using the second round picks, you have to use money on the rookie contracts. If an international player comes in and says, hey, matter of fact, I'm just going to stay with my team, you don't have to pay nothing at all. Those second round picks are actually useful in that sense. And some people actually use the second round picks to get prospects, of course, so they can develop and see if they can turn out to be good. Because it is some steals in the second round, if anything. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Dorian Finney-Smith trade, not a bad trade for Charlotte in terms of the sense. Save up some money, especially going to next year. Don't really just have to use the mid-level exception, which, and again, in a sense, we didn't really even go over the mid-level exception. We didn't even go over the tax line as yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like this is a good trade. We didn't give up anything in return. Maybe we will give up something in return because, again, it's not reported as yet. It's not official in terms of the trade, and it could go and bear into other trades as well. So, we'll see. But to be honest with you, this is a good trade for Charlotte. You get 3 second rounders. You get assets. You get a player that's pretty much on a bad contract that is going to get bought out. It is not guaranteed for the next 2 seasons. Win-win for Charlotte at this point. Win-win for the Rockets as well. Win-win for Dorian Finney-Smith, who is going to recover here and potentially, go out to the free agent market by next season as he gets time to recover and do everything that he needs to do. So with that in mind, we go to our second topic. And again, those 22nd round picks over 7 years. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, Charlotte has so many picks going into right now. Their assets are looking really good. They are barely over the tax line as it is. We could still make some trades. We still got the trade exception. Again, that trade exception is literally from the time that LaMelo Ball got traded, which I believe was in like late June or pretty much around probably a week ago, 10 days ago, 11 days ago, whatever. That lasts for literally a whole year into the NBA season. So you have time to make trades. You have time to do whatever you need to do to pretty much bring in a talent or to basically, bring in bad contracts for more assets, however you want to go about it. If you're Jeff Peterson, you have time to basically go about it. And then these 22nd round picks, as I said, over the 7 years, you're going to probably see Jeff Peterson start dealing those second round picks little by little as it comes around. Now, I don't know if he's going to continue building on those assets, ladies and gentlemen. I am not the GM. But in the sense of the word, I do know for a fact that those second round picks are going to be very useful later on in terms of getting some more draft capital or pretty much getting a role player that was going to help this Hornets team, or in a sense, in an acquirer of getting a star player in a sense, because again, those second round picks still help in terms of value, in terms of pretty much saving on money, in terms of draft stashes. You could use it on any sort of thing. So I feel like the Hornets are buying their time with these second round picks. Of course, they have 7 years of second round picks and they have 20 of them. They are in a good spot in terms of potentially acquiring first round talent, acquiring draft stashes, acquiring literally star players in terms of the trade of sending those second round picks. and they have a lot in terms of potentially bringing in some prospects as well. If they should fall out the first round, they have plenty of pieces to basically trade and get up to the late first round from that point on. So, ladies and gentlemen, tell me how you feel about the Dorian Finney-Smith trade. I know it's small. I understand it's not the biggest trade in the market as of right now, but a trade is a trade. You guys let me know how you guys feel about that trade. Let me know how you feel about the 22nd rounders, and let me know how you feel about Dorian Finney-Smith coming in, potentially being more than likely a reserve player, and it's not going to play. But if he does play, in a sense, because he is technically a reserve player for us, and say something should happen, he is there, he is ready to play. Let me know how you guys feel about him going on the team from this point on. So we're going to go to our third topic for today. Very quick today in terms of the topics going. The Charlotte trade package for Jaylen Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, this happened literally probably like 2 days ago. Yes, about 2 days ago, right? Charlotte presented an offer for draft compensation, Miles Bridges, Naz Reid for Jaylen Brown, and the package was shot down by the Celtics, who wanted Brandon Miller and more than 3 first-round picks should the Hornets moved on to other avenues. And so the Celtics pretty much offered those, wanted at least 3 first-round picks and Brandon Miller, which the Hornets said no to the deal. The Hornets offered a trade compensation with Miles Bridges, Naz Reid, and a bunch of possible second-round or first-round picks from that point on. They said no. So with that in mind, Jaylen Brown was not going to be going to the Hornets. And also, it was rumored as well that Jaylen Brown, if terms of basically being dealt, if he had to be dealt, because again, he didn't ask to be dealt from the Boston Celtics. According to the reports, he asked pretty much if his trade destinations, if they would to trade him, would it be Denver, definitely Cleveland. I think one of them was Cleveland, and then another one was Philadelphia, in which he basically got traded to Philadelphia in that sense. So he was not coming to Charlotte in any circumstance or any word. And it seems like the Celtics wanted to do right by Jaylen Brown, which makes sense. I don't know about that offer that they got back from him, but in terms of the deal, in terms of everything, Jaylen Brown did not want to become a Charlotte Hornet. He and the Boston Celtics did not like the deal that the Charlotte Hornets offered for Naz Reid and Miles Bridges in draft compensation, in which they would have got some really good players on their squad, and not only that, draft compensation on top of that, and also saving some cap in terms of it. The only player that's over a multi-year contract is Naz Reid in that sense, but he does not compare to Jaylen Brown in terms of what he is making in terms of money. So with that in mind, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, Jaylen Brown did not want to come here. And again, getting rid of Brandon Miller would have been crazy, especially for a 29 Jaylen Brown. Brandon Miller right now currently 22, I believe 23. It is a little, little sticky, a little risky to basically trade Brandon Miller for Jaylen Brown right now. And don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, I understand a lot of you guys in the comment section are going to say, I would much rather Jaylen Brown than Brandon Miller currently right now, because Jaylen Brown is the current right now top 15, top 10 player in the NBA currently has right now. He was an MVP candidate last year. I 100% understand, and I 100% understand that this team could be winning. We have faced a long playoff drought. I get it. I 100% do. But this is not the right way to basically start the rebuild or start the retooling of the Charlotte Hornets in terms of the draft assets, especially getting rid of LaMelo Ball. If you are going to make a trade like that, then I would say you will have, if you had LaMelo Ball still on this team and you wanted to boost your wing spots and still have Jaylen Brown on the team, then I can see a Brandon Miller being traded at that point. Then I can see, Miles Bridges being traded at that point for Jaylen Brown. And then we keep either Naz Reid from that point on and just continue on from there. As I said, I'm not a fan of this trade now because of the fact that LaMelo Ball is gone. All these players are gone. If we're trying to get a boost to get out and get up to the Eastern Conference, it is not going to be this way where a player that's in his prime is going to be on the twilight of his prime by the end of his possible contract year, or say something should happen, God forbid, of course, of an injury. We are in a bad territory at that point to where we have a aging star with injuries. And that's something that Philadelphia was dealing with Joel Embiid. And obviously, we don't expect the same for Jaylen Brown in a sense. But again, anything could happen in the NBA. I don't think we should let go of youth compared to an experienced player like Jaylen Brown at that point for this time being, knowing that our team is not even really competing in the Eastern Conference as of right now. We're going to be competing, of course. We're probably going to make play-in at most, or we probably make as most a 6 seed, if anything, by surprise, if it is there. But as of right now, ladies and gentlemen, it just doesn't seem like, as far as the East goes, as far as everybody else goes in the East, they are stacking their teams currently as of right now. It is going to be a difficult road for us to pretty much get into the playoffs unless we get in through the play-in and then basically win out from the play-ins from that point on. So I wouldn't think Jaylen Brown will be a perfect fit at this point. Yes, he can lead this team. Yes, he could be the primary ball handler. Yes, is he the most efficient primary ball handler? No, that's the problem right there. So hopefully it does help out that we didn't trade him. We get Brandon Miller still on our team, which I believe that is the best move for us. And we have to, worry about his contract extension coming up, which is going to be kind of like a Jalen Duren situation with the Detroit Pistons now, where, Detroit will be very comfortable, at least dealing with the fact that, Jalen Duren is wanting a max contract. They're not trying to pay him the max contract, and they might just, settle out with a 1 year, $20 million deal or something as far as the range go, to where Jalen Duren comes back, and then, obviously they work on contract extensions from there. But as I said, this could be a situation where Brandon Miller is in a situation where we have to do the same thing for him for next season, where he's probably going to be asking for the max contract. And obviously, maybe if his play is not the best, we're going to have to be dealing with that same situation in a sense as well. So hopefully we don't have to deal with that. Detroit said that they are not doing any signing trades with Jalen Duren. At that point, ladies and gentlemen, they are basically saying they will match anything. Same thing goes and applies for Brandon Miller. And you guys can also let me know how you guys feel about the trade package that we put together for Jaylen Brown. I honestly do not feel it's a bad trade, but to be honest with you, it's just not the best time to make a move for him as of right now. Because again, the starting lineup would have been, I believe, Kobe White. Because originally we wanted Kobe White, Brandon Miller, Con Knipple, Jaylen Brown at the 4, which was still a little bit shaky in terms of where you want to put him at the 4. I feel like you need an actual 4 to pretty much play at that point. I think we'll go after free agents and, see if we can get a player like that. And then Musa at the 5 or Steinbach at the 5. However, we was going to basically put it out there. 3 of those wings were going to play literally 2, 3, and 4 spots. And it is either Jaylen Brown or Brandon Miller at the 4 at that point. So it gives me a little risk, if anything. Again, small ball era, I understand anybody's positionless, but I still don't trust Jaylen Brown or Brandon Miller at the 4. So you guys let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about that trade or that trade package for Jaylen Brown. It is no longer there because obviously he got traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. But ladies and gentlemen, that was the trade package. Let me know in the comment section down below. Rehound on our final topic of today. Ladies and gentlemen, it feels like a similar price for Charlotte for Musa Diabate. Now, I have also more reports on this, right, where Musa was actually being targeted by the New York Knicks. They was monitoring Musa Diabate before signing Andre Drummond during the free agency, in which they also was checking out the center from New Orleans Pelicans, Yves Missy from the Pelicans, and they was looking at him because of the fact that some of these centers, like even Neemias Queta from Boston Celtics as well, they were looking at centers that was non-guaranteed in their contract, finally got guaranteed, and is looking for an extension to where they are very cheap value as of right now. And in terms of cheap value, not terms of, hey, I'm trading seconds away. No, these teams are willing to trade and willing to basically monitor these centers that, is coming up short as far as second round picks or undrafted, and then basically coming to the NBA and doing their role at a very high rate, such as Musa Diabate, for possible first round picks. And that's where Charlotte was getting contact from the New York Knicks. Now, obviously, I believe that Musa Diabate was never on the trade block. It's been reports or rumors of him potentially being on the trade block, but to be honest with you, I just never seen much to where Musa is going to be leaving off from the team because of the simple fact that, it's been predicated that they want players with Hornets DNA, or they want players that is going to be rebounding and hustling and getting out to the floor. So Musa saved pretty much most of the season, did a great job in terms of that, but he is due for a contract extension from the Charlotte Hornets. And Neemias Queta just got a similar deal technically from the Boston Celtics. He is the market for those underachievers in terms of centers as of right now, or overachievers in terms of center at that second round spot, or that undrafted spot has of right now. And Neemias Queta got a 4-year, $56 million extension from Boston. This feels similar to the same price that Moussa Diabate will probably have in the next contract, but probably even more than Neemias Queta. Now, Neemias Queta has 14 mil, right, for the next 4 seasons throughout his contract. So 14 mil every year, which is the 25th highest center salary in the league right now. This feels right for Queta's value. Moussa is more than likely going to get more than that and probably get 17 mil, if anything, in terms of its max. So you guys let me know, do you feel that Moussa Diabate deserves that $17 million extension? I 100% agree that he deserves it. It's more so, do you feel like in this timeline currently right now, with the way the Hornets is moving, do you feel that Moussa, 1, deserves that, or 2, should be traded for a first-round pick or multiple draft compensations to a team to where they pay him off? Because you got to realize and got to consider, guys, and I understand trading Moussa is like trading the heart of Charlotte has already right now. We already traded the soul of Charlotte. Imagine we traded the heart of Charlotte, with Moussa basically being gone. Obviously, I don't want that. Obviously, I'm just saying. But for guys, for people that actually do analytics, that people that actually do the cap room and everything, would you trade Moussa for a first-round pick if that means that first-round pick is going to be valuable and it's going to be unprotected, and that team is offering that because they want to bolster up their roster as much as they can, and then Moussa is pretty much back out on the market in free agency the next year because they're not going to be able to pay his contract extension no matter what, right? In the sense of the way, obviously Moussa deserves probably a bit more. He's probably going to get about 17 mil. I honestly do not believe, I feel, or 100% feel, that he is going to get that money. He's going to basically save. I think Charlotte is going to keep hold of him. But as I said, the New York Knicks was monitoring him. Some other teams was monitoring some of the players that was out there. The same type of build, the same type of archetype has Moussa in terms of a rebounding or athletic center that can pretty much put the ball on the floor, rebound, and do certain things. It's a good asking price, to say the least. And as I said, a first round pick would not be bad in terms of that. Now, this is not me saying that I want to trade Moussa. I believe Moussa should stay here in Charlotte, no matter of the doubt. But again, it was rumored of it. Jake L. Fisher said it. The Steinline said it, or Mark Stein said it. So you guys let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about that. Do you feel that if Moussa Diabate should get the contract extension and stay in Charlotte, or do you feel that if it is draft compensations that is available for Moussa, and we already got pretty much a logjam at the center spot currently as it is, where Nas could play the center, where Steinbach can play the center, Ryan Kottbrenner could play the center in that sense, and we also could, load up for somebody else in terms of that, would you get rid of Moussa for a first round pick in terms of assets and in terms of how the way this team is going? You guys let me know from there. Neemias Queta contract is setting that standard. I think we're going to pay more than that. We're probably going to be paying about 4 years for maybe, I would say, $65 million in terms of Moussa Diabate's contract. So we'll see how it goes. But you guys let me know in the comment section from that point on. And you guys let me know how I did on today's show. I know today is a short one for today. But again, we did a great job in terms of just talking about Hornets news in general. Broke it down completely underneath 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. A quick update for you guys as always. And you guys know that our summer league is coming up very soon. There's some people that have been playing in the summer league as of right now. If you guys have missed the games, make sure you watch the games back. Yaxel has looked good. Cameron Carr has looked good so far. As certain players that looked really good. Darren Peterson played yesterday. He played terrific yesterday. So you guys have so much to look for in terms of the top 1 to top 15 picks that is coming along, and we cannot wait until our Charlotte Hornets take the floor around July 10th, around July 9th. So I cannot wait for that. We're going to be covering every single game. I'm going to be watching every single game. And I hope you guys are excited for Summer League the same way. But if you guys like this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. As always, we are very close to hitting that 1.1. Let's make sure that we hit that. And also, as always, for me, in this case, if you do subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can get updated every single day at 11 to 11:30 p.m. 11 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that way you can get your Hornets news every single time. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tayvon. You guys have a great, wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your day from this point on from the Hornets Daily Podcast. Have a good one.